Welcome to another episode. Oh, I have a little bit of a tissue on my face. See, I've been wiping my face because these idiots, they're making me homeless type, right? And you wake up in the morning, you'd like to wipe the face. You make sure that you're looking good, right? Not like a little crazy. Right, let me clean this. There you go. So what happened is this. Once upon a time, this idiot, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, right? He putting together a League of Nations, right? It becoming something called the NU, right? The NU, I'm sorry, the UN, right? Like, what it does is United Nations, right? And they come together and trying to make it what they're calling the global government, right? The one world government, right? They do it first the League of Nations, right? It was a League of Nations in the beginning, right? They were not quite united, right? But once they saw it, a plan that they could take it, everything, right? Make cannibalisms like the global religion, the witchcraft, right? They change it to United Nations, right? And united is an interesting word, right? But I'm not going to go into that at the moment. We'll talk about the United States of America another day in the United Nations. But I need to digress for just one moment, right? Think of the United States actually like the European Union, right? It's kind of like Europe is Europe, right? If you're in Europe, it's your rope, right? We got you roped up, right? But they have different countries, each one representing like a state, right? Because it's a long time ago, all of them has just their own language. English not really the prevailing thing, right? But over the time, they still having their language, but all of them, when they going to the UN, they're expecting to speak the leasing. They're expecting to speak the leashing, right? I'm sorry, the English, right? English is like another word for leasing and leashing is what I'm saying. That's why if you're living in Europe, it's Europe, right? They got you roped up, right? In the United States of the taste of the state, right? What they do is they're making the human steak, right? Each state is like a country here in the United States. But that's why they have it called the state rights, right? Because a long time ago, it was like this, right? You had the Spanish, they coming to the Florida, right? And they make the fluoride, right? You go to fluoride, and then you get the Florida, right? In the water, right? And then the French, they go and they see Louis and Anna, right? Louisiana, right? That was very French over there, right? The English had New York, right? And you had many states like the Massachusetts, you had the Missouri, you had the Dakota, right? You had Oklahoma, right? These states run by what they used to call it Indians, right? But now we call it Native Americans, right? They were Indians, right? But now they're Native Americans, right? They don't want to admit it, that the people who are the Native Americans, who used to be called Indians, right, are like the people from India, right? If you're from India or Indiana, the state, right? Or you're an Indian, right? That is meaning that you were governed by the pagan god Diana, right? So what it was they had the witchcraft to making the feminism, right? And that's why you were Indian, you're Indian, right? But they do this thing it long time ago, where they masking of the words, right, and know it that in the United States, right, the Abraham Lincoln, right, was what they call Jewish, right, and he did the consolidation of the power and did the federalism, right? That was the ism of making everyone a feeder, right? A feeder of all, right? All feeders. We will make them all feeders. We will make it to where everybody, you will either be the hunter or the game, right? I don't know if you look into this Abraham Lincoln, right? But he walking around looking very Jewish with the top hat. Very evil-looking individual, spent his life in depression, right? But we hail him like he is good, right? Because of the Civil War, right? But the thing what he did was he consolidated the power, right? Between the North and the South, right? This is very important situation, right? Because you see it step by step. They're creating what they're calling the consolidation of the power, right? But they progress. They call this the progress, right? That's why you are a progressive if you are participate in the consolidation of the power, right? In order to federalize, or in other words, progress the system of the hunter and the game, right? And what it is a very simple situation, right? You're looking at Revelation 2:9, right? The John of the baptism, he says it, right? That there are the people that are masquerading as the Jew, but actually they're representing the synagogue of Satan, right? This is key because you have to comprehend it, that you can make people look a certain ethnicity by creating of a state, right? And when you're creating of the state, right, then people, they gather together under an ideology, right? And then under the ideology, they're creating certain standards, right? Where you must be with another person of that type, right? So in the type of the Judeans who took over the country of Israel with the Assyrians working in the racketeer, right? The Judean coming up and the Assyrian coming down on the Israelite people, but they don't want you to know it, that the Bible tells the story, right? So what they do is they use the Tower of Babel, which is the label, right? The Babel label, right? The Babylonian label, where they're using the witchcraft to make everybody immature and angry like a baby lion, right? That is called Babylon, right? Or Babylon, right? I know of this, right? This is the truth, right? And this is how the people are, right? They go into the McDonald's, they don't get the right sweet and sour sauce, instead they give them the barbecue, and then they throw the food at the nice worker behind the counter because the ketchup packet was only 2 instead of 3. Like, this type of craziness is like what they call the baby lion, right? That's how you know it, that the baby is lying and you're in Babylon, right? And I'm telling you right now, when you see it, there was a man whose name used to be something other, but irrelevant. because like he was a Benjamin Franklin, known as Benjamin Franklin, there is another Benjamin who's been jamming. He's been jamming. I'm gonna jamming with you, right? It's a Bob Marley, right? We're jamming. You know you like a jamming Jews, right? We're jamming, we're jamming, we're jamming, we're jamming, we're jamming, we're jamming, we're jamming and jamming and jamming till we're jamming you, right? This is the song. It's like the peanut butter and the jam, right? And I'm telling you right now, Benjamin thought that he was netting a Yahoo, right? He thought that was a Yahoo, that he was going to be jamming, right? But I don't want to be jammed. You know what I'm saying? You don't net the Yahoo and then hit him with the jam into the rectal cavity, right? This is not appropriate for a human being, right? Only a monster would putting the hard thing into the soft, tight butt, right? But he likes that. He likes the Benjamin Yahoos, right? He likes the Benjamin Yahoo, right? But the thing I'm telling you, you have to net the Yahoo before you Benjamin it, right? So the thing about it is this League of Nations, right, is like a consolidation of power which became the UN, right? In the United States of the State, what happened was there was a lot of individual states. There were some of them speaking the German. Some of them were speaking the English, right? But they had a vote. By one vote, believe it or not, they decided to make English the language, right, of the United States. There was a time that this actually happened. One vote, right? And we became English-speaking universally, right? And what happened with that is this. When they did it, everybody got consolidated under the United States. The United States is the European Union only in the United States, but nobody told you that, right? So when you think of the United States, you think of us one country, nation. We pass around, we do this, we do that, because we have one prevailing language, right? That's how they consolidation of the power, right? But here's what's going on now. This is crazy. People are seeing the cannibalism, right? The witchcraft system is being exposed, right? The Epstein thing is happening. The the Erica Karka, right? And the Captain Karka, right? On the Starship Enterprise, known as the Turning Point, right? What happened was that Charlie, C.R. Lai, he passing the baton to the Darka, right? And from the Team America, where you meet America, where you meet the camera, where you meet Amir Ican, right? What happened here is they went to the UN, and he was Benjamin another idea about to, right? The Yahoo, about netting me, and what happened was he was going to give the speech about the genocide that the Nazi party, other known as the Ashkenazi Jew, which means he or she cannot see a lie, right? Ashkenazi, right? Ashkenazi, right? He or she cannot see a lie, right? They're seeing the illusion coming down, right? So, when the Yahoo, known as Netin Benjamin, gets up to what they call the podium in the pulpit, right? What happened was everybody get up except a few leftover fools, and they leave it. They're like, your magic is not what it used to be, right? We see it, that the little one world governmental system under the feeder of all is falling to pieces because they know about what is called the 100th monkey experiment, right? They know that as I move it, right, and speak it and be it, right, other people are waking up that we do not want to be consumers or consumed, but rather we want to produce and become producers, right? Now you need to look at the chart, right? Several charts, right? The chart of American farms since 1890. I challenge it, right? What you see it is up until the 1890, many American farms. All of a sudden, it's going like this, right? Down. Why is it we have almost no farming, right? All of a sudden, you look at the chart of the American manufacturing, right? Other than the World War II, which we call it back, right? The little bit of blip baby boomer era, it was going up. Why? Because of what they call the Operation Paperclip, or the project of the paperclip, right? What happens there was the Margaret Sanger KKK crew from the Europe, right? Very much settled here, living under the Grand Wizard and the various cloakas, all the different dunce cappings that they wear it, right? Looking very masky, right? And then there was another party in Germany, led by the Adolf Hitler. And what they did there was they had a Jew named Adolf Hitler telling everybody that the blonde-haired, blue-eyed race is going to be the master, right? And that's how they got the public to buy in to what they called it. And what they did was they bought into this, right? No, but the funny part is why is he the only one without the blonde hair, blue eyes, and a silly mustache, right? But yet, we're going to buy into this. This is why it is magic, because they're manufacturing the consent of the stupidity of the people manufacturing the consent, just like, for example, the Trump, right? The name is not Triumph, Triumph, right? Come on, they even put it on the magazine. You know what I'm saying? This is silly. Like in the Bible, the Trump, we need the seventh Trump, like he's some kind of a savior. I do not want some flop-top mop looking like a slop as my savior. Maybe you do, but I think that this is a disaster. And that is why you are seeing it unfolding in real time, making them walk the plank, constantly stepping on rake after rake after rake, getting whack in the face, so they get to make a move too. So they create what is called a diversion, right? And with the Charlie Kirk, he's passing away, and the this and the that with the Derica and the Romanian Angel and the Patika. This is just a distraction from the Eat Penis files, the Epstein files, right? You have the Eat Rump as the Trump, and you have the Eat Penis as the Epstein, right? Just look at the names. Eat Rump. Look at the name Epstein. The word penis is clearly in the name Epstein, right? You see what I'm talking about? It's about eating the human body, right? And it's crazy. Have you, I just want to say, before I wrap it up, that the UN is what they call is crumbling, right? You cannot have a United Nations where like 80% is moving out, right? At the same time, there's still like 20% hanging around listening to the Yahoo about Netin, right? It's crazy, right? This dude is trying to genociding the gays, the Gaza, and it's just not right what is going on with the Ashkenazi party, right? They have to stop saying we are Nazi and then we are Zion. Because you understand, Zion, Nazi. Look at it backwards, look at it forwards, right? They're trying to do the coded language, right? That's why when you do the Holocaust, right, it's a hollow hoax, right? Because there was like 35 million of the Christians who died and went to war when only like 6 million of the Jews died, right? You got to do the math, right? You take the number 6, you take the number 30, right? What you do is you multiply the number 6, times it by 5, you get 30. Then you get the 30 million. But in America, things are different. Times have changed, right? Because what we have is called the Judeo-Christian values. You cannot have a Judeo-Christian value. Wake up to yourself okay? It's the stupidest idea that's ever been created. The Jews, they valued the killing of truth. Christ preaching the truth. So how do we have the same value when one person is the Judeo and the other person is the Christian and the one who killed the Jesus is the Jew? It's crazy. It's making no sense. We value the same thing. Well, yeah, do we? Because last time I checked, it was Jesus exposing the Jew and the Jew running after him and putting him up onto a little thing called the cross and then keeping the scoreboard. Do you understand that this was the hunter and the game and Jesus was the game, and then the Pontius Pilate executing the Jesus, making the Jews the winner, is just their model, right? The Jesus is anybody who speaks the truth, okay? Okay? He's the Jesus, he's the sausage, he's the cheeses, he's, you know what I'm saying, man? You want the sausage, you want the cheeses, right? Get it? The sausage, boop, 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 and the cheeses. If you want the sausage and you want the cheeses, you gotta go find him, and then you're gonna get your sausage and your cheeses, right? This is why it's crumbling, because the veil of the illusion, the sexual perversion that links it all together, is falling apart. Like the Chinese market for the silicon wafer. Soon it will fall apart. We will wake up to the hemp supercapacitor. That is my brain, right? But until that day comes, recognize, do not serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and see a job, okay? Because you're not an Isaac, okay? You're not going to see a job in the future. And you're not going to ram a bee in the future. I'll tell you what you're going to do. Wake up early in the morning. Get yourself a career that you designed for yourself, or you come see me. Just kidding. I don't want to see you. You don't want to see me either. But time to stop becoming a consumer and learn how to become a producer, because this global government is falling down, because we are right now dealing with an existential threat to humanity because of these stupid cannibals. They're sex trafficking, they're blackmailing, they're roping and luring. Other than that, it is Sunday. Find a church that preaches about the Old Testament, and you will find a synagogue. So get yourself a church that talks about the New Testament only, and learn how to go back in what's called the Bible and read your Proverbs and reconcile the truth against your heart. Read the Psalms, reconcile the truth against your heart. Because the Bible is written on every man's heart. Everyone knows right from wrong until you eat the shem and eat the guilt. In other words, you eat the shame and you eat the guilt. But don't eat the shame and eat the guilt. Turn from shame, turn from guilt. And do the right thing. This way you don't have shame and you don't have guilt. Don't take the gay path like Japheth and Shem. Be like Ham, who didn't molest his father when he was sleeping. And don't follow the God of a Biram and an Isaac and see a job. But focus on Esau. He saw a use for himself. He saw a use. Like cause, see a use. When you find a cause, you'll find motivation to get up your butt and do things for yourself. That's the crown, where you find freedom and free your body with liberty, not biblity. It's not the whole lie by a bell. It's not believe the whole lie. Take parts of it. Boop. Learn how to extract the silver from the dross, as they say, and become a solo man, like King Solomon. Walk away from the roper. In other words, your family. People trying to bring you back into the struggle. and go find yourself what they call peace of mind, right? Peace of mind, right? Stay away from the Jezebel. Lure them in, make them think that you're interested, and then leave them at the brokey, right? Don't be a jabroni.